precision, eyeball, update, upgrade, eternal value. Blinks, yeah, animate the inner workings of your own eyeballs. Yeah, we could do that on the pilot episode of my public outreach and my campaign film. I want it to be full, even if I had a documentary style. I just need larger pictures, alternate locations, and final, um, you know, um, modern day appearance. A real produced American classic. I think my 6-hour film will satisfy my appetite for direction on what I'm trying to explain to America is about what I'm saying. I'd look forward to the Randolph performing the extreme, group, a guided thing where we all complete a master cut of what you guys think is the best version or something like that, and it may be like 2 hours long, and and then have the director's cut of the like 6-hour thing that I did. Bringing characters to life, working with the motion capture, and doing that in a doing that as like a unit, capturing some of the landscape and the islands, and there's like this big X in the map. X marks the spot. X fractals will do that. There's like a ravine that you can see in the lake, and at the bottom of the lake, it's like the rock is severed, and it goes like this, and it causes an X. And I've never been there before. I'd like to go explore it, and but I don't want to ruin it. Me just going there myself with my cell phone or something might just sort of waste time. And I'm trying to figure out how to balance all that, because I guess I'm trying to explain to you guys the undertow is a real thing, and it's not satisfying for us to think that Earth and humans are really on this level of understanding telepathy and where the edge on its application and its fruit bearing thing. It's a weird thing because people are like, because we live in our head, but it shouldn't cause sheeple. But you wouldn't believe how severely Earth is on the sleeve of mankind right now, partially because of our own potential extinction, Bram. So Earth is like very submitted to the humans right now, and I'm like, except for my opportunity has been getting hazed, as if like this is because telepathy isn't a natural thing for a planet. Bah. Belly aching from the Earth. It's not all human error. You guys are like, here's some embarrassing truths about the scientific workings of planets and star systems. Like, my arrival in 1980 proves the unification for both animals and planetoids, right? I'm like the first gravity and the first horizon, and it exists on a flat dimension. And now it's protecting the Earth, but there's like a severance line where my aura is following me, but my design, I was inventing Millie the Outlaw and the twins, because I was like, as a one of a kind thing, I need to go like that, and working on like a universal image to make that like the static constant of the armor of an angel, and to understand adult things were like, these million-year-old like satellites are wicked haunted, and they're like, it's not again. And like as an adult, even if it's like numbskull or like, well, I had a nightmare season, and it's like you know, like all these people freaking mime show. They're like, I think this is what it feels like to live in the universe. I'm like, you're pretty much you know pretty much guaranteed to be correct all the time. It's just like some of these things about identity physics, and that's only getting reinforced. You know, X5000. Really, that's how the good guys are going to win. And I'm uh, you know, my final resource is that sort of 95% of you know you that things can be determined, but ultimately the reason that there was confusion and why we need to work harder in a certain conjecture is because like insects are like, well, we're not attracted to gravity, and they have chitin, and there's all these other sorts of insect things delegating against levitation. And the problematic incarnation process of being born so minuscule, you know, which compartments of, you know, that insects have. And it's not fair. So, yeah, the bugs are always complaining about it. Because of the. All right. Chitin. All right. Levitation. Oh, that's right. I was going to make a whole movie about lakeside streaming, 50-55 levitation project. We have the hovering technology, and they're getting towards the battery um, technology on lightweight and all of this. The understanding is just going through the roof. With at any rate, I'm interested in a drone hover levitation for practical flying around. Um, how to harness it to the body. We can actually engineer a brand new prototype and have our own take on that. The point is that these little propellers, if you have like 8 of them or something, okay, now you're talking. Um, we have the technology to lift the weight of the person. It's incredible. So having like a channel doing that, this is where I build the relationship with America, and people can get it into that. There's a whole episode about that. And I think probably the end of that episode is like you see the feet just lifting off, like, oh, it's working, they're flying. But that sort of, this opens up this reality, and a whole department can sort of follow in that and have it. That's the idea about the umbrella. And I believe the perfect design for the streaming service is a multiplication of our blessing, not a, oh, but at the end of the road you're only going to get 50%. No, there's a sort of miracle when that we do need to harness and not abuse communication or time. Really, that's my concern, is that I need to get to work, and it's a relationship with America. Let them pull apart, as a pack of wolves. We'll really get to know each other, and they'll decide, supply and demand, what they want from the relationship with myself. At that production leap, you guys, I had to sort of like this go through it, and like Earth is, going through his sort of like, oh, of it, and like, of course, the Earth's best self is like the perfect planet. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Earth is very famous in the universe, and I'm working on that. I do not. I'm protecting his vitals. That's what Earth. So with measurement happening at X5000, the size of the universe, but also the actual one age, the one identity, like a fingerprint, is becoming confirmed X5000 for planets. So they're like actual like revelations for on a planet size or across the universe is happening. And humans, like I was saying, like the adults' stance is like to have these sort of understandings of how to blindside boxing with a very advanced, difficult situation where the UFOs are on like a hostage crisis, because they're like, "Why is it you, Earth? Why?" And they're like, "We're waiting for life to speak." And I'm like, "Oh man, like, but like the intelligence of life of humanity is really on." And we're in like, this is the thing, we're like in the middle of the eye of the storm. And so you guys, it appears to be like that we have all this luxury to hack and slash at the Colin Paul Woodard as he's running for president. No, but don't. No, we have to support for you. Come on, you guys. It could be really cool, and you guys are like, well, you're right. We haven't really tried out being super cool and working with you. We understand what it means to, you need all this backing. Yeah, man. Well, it's my. I mean, what I would consider like a living, um, the correct balance for Randolph is to imagine adoption for the career path of Colin Paul Woodard. However, take this into like the Flupsgard of Slav as like the ultimate challenge between individuals. Hatch versus Randolph, episode 5, ends consonanted. Yeah. So here's my challenge to the Randolph family crest through this production valve is because like I'm in a cyclone of otherworldly. Oh, it's like you wouldn't believe how veiled it is yet. I am the sort of underdog beloved character because I've always been this roly-poly poetic character. And but the bereft around me was literally the holy war of like antimatter and all this stuff that wasn't from the eyes. And so my peoples in my continuum got spooked, the whole bot. There's this other legend that is X5000, or basically solid matter, or basically everything else. That is the fabric of a greater understanding of the thematics of existence. That it's going to be perfect. Ascension of my celebrity is going to be this huge relief for New England because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, finally they're making that movie. They're making the breakaway movie." Yeah, well, I was thinking like, wow, um, because of my one of a kindness, I understand that I appear completely unique and strange, and but that doesn't mean that I'm broken. And how like humanity, but the only way that America could really supply for me is by labeling me as this. Well, I mean, I'm getting my rent covered, and this is the greatest thing I can do. But I can't afford to like go on road trips or something like, oh, just you have all this money. I don't, and it's got me in this little. I'm in this really interesting. It's like the most advanced meditation of my life is this apartment that I'm in. It's like spookily hardcore. Just me working day and night in negotiations. Yesterday, I just started like my nose was running really badly, and I like lean towards recording, and then I'd just be like achoo achoo. I was like, oh whoa, hey, hold on a minute, and there was nothing I could do about it. Just I had. Oh, you know what it was is that I hadn't been eating enough, and I just drank a bunch of coffee, and then I was like, what's wrong with my energy? um, and I'm looking forward to transcending. Like when I meet with America, I'm gonna have there'll be like a new type of laugh. I'll start laughing in a different way, like a like there's like a huger. There's just a laugh that like embarrasses people but forces them to laugh too. But right now I've got this blunted chuckle. I don't even know what the hell it is. Like I was listening to my own movies. I'm like, what the fuck? It's so embittered. But like it's a monologue movie. It's hard. Like I want to hear the audience. I was also thinking like, what about if I had an agent that was like, I'll make sure that you're in front of that you have staged events. We can get you on the stage like open mic or we can. I would love that. God, that would be so good. Wow. But in my mind of minds, I've really thought it through, and what I'm saying is like for my experience and for everyone else's experience, a sort of greater lakeside 50-55, the streaming service. It's like to partner with Randolph is for me to earn 150% from my company, the streaming service. And there's these other things like levitation. Oh, we're gonna make like jetpacks. Yeah, I think we should go with the propellers. Yeah, I mean the drone technology when they're animating this and working together is so beautiful. I love it, and I want to explore how the building is integrating with AI and has a sort of nighttime dronery that creates like little shapes over the water's edge and is like rotating, but also has little camera gantries and maybe like little it's got a little blow darts that they're letting trespassers. Security Bramp. All right. I mean, it relies on my performance and my ability to entertain, but also to reach people. You guys, again, the consumer model is not broken for me. It's perfect for me. It's just people aren't mature about um, like the free election is not entertainment. I'm like, dude, I understand that. I'm saying people will find this digestible. Whereas what I find in the news is like projectile vomit. It's disgusting. Yeah, I can't eat this. It's not. It's disgusting, and I don't even avoid it. I like try to understand what these other politicians are doing, and it's insulting, right? And it's not the optimization of a free American republic of free speech and free. I mean, this is the our forefathers have worked really hard. This is like ancient Rome, like the wisdom of Socrates, but they were like, no, dude, like humans conspire like this. You have to have free speech. You have to have a free election, and the law mandates if you state as an American. You tell people, you say, I am running for president, then legally, yes, you are. That's amazing. That's a free country, and that's how you destroy monopoly. And as one way or the other, it does that. And so I'm working on these things aren't actually meta. I think people have a wrong. I think people think that meta is just sort of anything you want it to be, but to avoid the constraints of freedom is the wrong type of chaos. And so the greater lessons are the greater chariot of adults, even if it is like market goes against that what they thought it would be, and or like, oh well, there's a learning lesson. That's just sort of things. Like a creation event occurs on with Master Source in his hologram over in the universe. Running for president in the. Oh, all right, I'm sorry. Master Source Industries, the virtual center. And I created an atomic generator to use that hologram to really destroy the hologram fever that's causing black holes and to enforce human grade technology create age bracket. So we can identify almost like a different level of DNA or identity level. There are overlapping similar to how the universe uses electromagnetics to avoid like the planets are traveling through the universe. They're able to, because of the epishwau of electromagnetics, they're able to negotiate around each other um, through the correct repellent and attraction forces, which is really interesting. But it's the same thing for the cellular cap, except for humanity has a um, abbreviated electric promise, which creates their immersion to be complicated. And when we correctly apply that, it's the right type of um, strength of the mind to avoid the terror that is facing Earth. But for us to be brave in America and to do a bit more than we thought is to really be the strength where Earth has a weakness, because Earth is like, I have ancient telepathic fever. And part of the thing with Randolph is that he's thinking and thinking in his mind. And he's like, oh, that's funny. And he's basically bringing madness into the typewriter, and texting, is all scripted in this older form. But he doesn't believe in my lucid form because, well, but the relationship with America is going to happen perfect circle. So that's why I believe in Randolph, because he creates like 150 profit for my side of the. He's a good partner for engineering this thing. Yes, thank you very much for the wire map. The urgency for my performance. Um, so is it, like for me to get away from disability, which is I because okay, like I need to get a lot of work done on my teeth. Like I need full adoption. But it's just what I was saying is like if I mess up and if I don't meet the mark that we're talking about earning back for Randolph and stuff, I sort of like lose rank in the thing. But what I'm saying is that this is a great challenge for Hatch versus Randolph. This is Epiphany. There's a life no sendies because of my ethnicity I was targeted with antimatter because they're trying to um, disprove the existence of the rainbow unification model. And so the truth of like our actual like it's all cheated in the BRAMF for a crack pipe that's poison and they're going to invade for that. It's not a good deal. So X5000 is a bunch of these freewares for the fingerprint of the human is their entry. It's like how that works. But the sunshine with its superpositioning of like the first time humans are watching or be able to see the sun, and this like imaginary cube is coming out of it. It's like holy, like these are like the historical hieroglyphs on the wall of things that happened during our living season, and for us to extend beyond the tombs of a pretend future is to understand our empowerment. Like it was interesting when we're learning about lost civilizations of humanity. Uh, we know who our enemies are, and so the truth is known, and armor up in that, Brown. And anything that causes bad luck or sickness to your body, we're going to destroy that with explodey. For every particle in your body, an explosion that drives out, the occurrence of the sound of sickness or encroaching a bad time. It just blinks, an animation, and each of us making our own freeware is the way to really adapt. That's the cures from the Amazon. So humanity is the incredible value, and they are the living trees. And they're endangered. That's why the Earth is having environmental crisis, because he's like, I basically was trying to explain to you guys that the situation has environmental distortion beyond belief. So the work of producing Colin requires beyond normal capacity. So Colin is not just a normal disabled person who's just attacking Randy. So the Wear Map encouraged me not to just open a company. I was going to be like, oh, I'm just like you. I'm like you guys, a human. And the Earth said, no, you're not going to do that. The Wear Map made it weird. And I knew it was sort of like a trap because Earth is like, remember, I've got my Sega problem and the other things. And then, well, it's not to make my issues yours, and I don't want to press the false things, but when I'm encouraging X5000, all the right things are happening, and then people want to like blame me because it's almost like, woof, is this all right. Oh, but that's how weird the inversion of the orientation there. But Randolph, understand that my lifetime never happened before. It hasn't happened, and the production of me is actually this otherworldly magical thing. After you physically cause and effect reality, produce this hatch pilot. Free speech, free election takes over and purifies the power, and your entire portfolio and your voice becomes the next level of human engineer for revelations, health, rounding up, society building, the strength of the family crest. Promote Randolph II for his lakeside channelioid is his true relationship with America. there are good things on the other side. And what I was saying is that my situation, like being crumpled underneath the holy war, I thought it would be obvious from my friendship with you. But the temptations of everyone else and everything else, it's pretty easy to just be someone saying, reinforcing that, like, well, Colin has, I, I am asking for you guys to embrace me hardcore and give me this monster bear hug. And then be like, but if you screw up this election thing, you're going to be like working on my, you'll be indentured. Exactly. I was, I mean, like, I know it's like basically asking for job security. I know, it's really weird, but I'll work it out. Like, no, but I'm not planning on. There's not some like, oh, if that doesn't work out, this thing over here. Um, it's like the robotics and the soul and the origin things. That's where authenticity turns into gold. And the beauty of my campaign isn't stricken here with this image, but I love this picture. I love the colors and I mean, here's Hatch and Millie with a soul lamp. It's perfect. Millie, the queen of the universe, Hatch in his dragon form, and my son, the vampire king. I mean, it's perfect. Like I here's the low budget, here's the no budget version. And right now I'm doing pretty good. I got a dentist appointment. I'm gonna go get my tooth fixed now. Like that was why the alarm went off because I'm supposed to drive over there. And thank you guys. And then I've got like some money in my bank account, so I'm doing a lot better with that. Able to maintain a some amount in my bank account. I'm trying to figure things out, and I go through these panic-stricken things where I'm like, maybe I should just sell my car, and then I can just go. It's like I need to hire one of those guys that I found that there's well, setting up my workstation and then getting some server space and then opening up a web page is just like 1,500, 500 continued expense. Or okay, and I'll like that startup this like nest egg is lacking from my reach, and it's really hurts. Like recently my mom retired and it's really different. It's really like she's just like, oh, we don't have any money, and like so now I have like no sort of um you know seasonal relief, no Christmas checks, this sort of thing. But Earth and this whole circumstance that caused one of those pirate ships to commit suicide, the sun. These things were warping reality in like a nightmare drunken sequence that caused. Anyway, the hope is that, well, because of the physics of the Mandelbrot, my lifetime sequence keys and renders the solution in multiple ways. So I'm just looking forward to embracing America and making this true love party video. I don't need the real estate to make the movie. It can be just, let's get to work and make these characters happen. And as they're beginning to, I'm going to invent like, because of the way it looked, it's so good. And that energy, looking for that. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Really are the solution here. And I really appreciate you guys in my life. Thank you, Randolph. For Hatch versus Randolph is a lifetime challenger. I'm looking to get to work, gentlemen. American society literally has the wrong idea about civility, and where we're stretched too thin. I mean, the physics of landscape. You can go out driving, and then all of a sudden there's just forest and emptiness and deserts. We're like at the beginning, and we need to be aware of that. Thank you. and possibly Artemis Clyde Frog for being my secret best friend in the hope for the audience and for who I truly am, Americana 47.